So, Jonathan, thank you very much for joining this interview. Can you introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
Of course. I'm Jonathan Dijkslag. I'm working at Enza Zaden, being the global manager data insights and innovation, which means that I'm responsible that as a company we can gain as much impact with data as possible. Mm-hmm. And I think we all agree, since we are here, that data can play a real important role for almost every company, also for Enza. So yeah, that's who I am, and my mission is to make Enza the most powerful breeding company using data.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in the company on working with data and AI? So tell us about the experience and the journey so far.
I think in general, what you see is what made Enza very successful is the expertise of breeders. We are working in a product-driven market, and we are really good at it. So Enza grew over time based on the expertise of our people. And in the 80s, biotech came with it. And I think, again, we were quite successful in adapting to new technologies. And now we are running into an era where it's all about, maybe not all, but data is crucial. So I think that is in the heart of our journey. We are a company that value our expertise, but also we are really aware of the fact that expertise comes with knowledge, with having the right people able to execute knowledge in such a way that you make impact. And I think that's also how we look at this journey. So it's, again, how can we bring new skills, new knowledge to existing and new people, and combine it all together into real impact.
It sounds like you're on a new step in a broader journey then, that already maybe started decades ago. And now, of course, then with data and AI maybe being a bit more prevalent in that. Can you tell us a little bit more about basically some successes that you're already having on that front, specifically related to data and AI?
There are so many, but I think the biggest success of Enza is that in everything we do, we are conscious of our choices. So I think over the past 3 to 5 years, we have spent quite some money on the fundament for success. So where some companies I know are quite stressed out because of legacy, as we call it. I think we are very well in starting up the right initiatives to create a very profound foundation, and also take the time to finalize that. Okay. So for instance, we have been struggling with certain platforms, but we didn't continue without the right basis for success. And I think that is very powerful within Enza. So we have, I think, built over the past years new skills based on scalable platforms in such a way that we can bring real concrete value in almost all expertise fields in the company.
And in terms of challenges, right? Because this journey is hard, we know that. Can you maybe give a few examples of some challenges you met along the way?
I think the biggest challenges is that devil's in the details, and that's not only from a data journey perspective, but also in our expertise. So the real success of Enza with data depends on really high mature expertise combined with very high mature expertise in data. And that bridging, let's say, business experts towards data experts, I think that is the biggest challenge. I think it has always been the biggest challenge, but for a company like Enza, it's extra complex. On the other hand, another complexity, I think, is we have quite some people that are very heavily involved in using data in their daily work for decades from a statistical perspective. Yet the way we use data nowadays is different than compared to the decades ago. So also there you are, it's almost a game. Eh? So it's somehow it's the same, yet the tools we can offer are really different. And then the change is, how can you still value the contributions that are there today, and yet challenge to take the next step with all the opportunities we see nowadays.
Yeah. I was a bit triggered by your first response, right? So that this sort of like this bridging, this expertise, both on let's say the functional expertise, but also the data and AI expertise. What's your secret of doing that? So how do you do that? What's your advice on that if others are also struggling with similar things?
I think it really comes back to understanding the culture of your company. So for me, I remember my first year, and I'm not very patient as a human being, but when I joined the company, I knew that it would take time to understand how things work today. Also I needed to show my respect to everything that has brought so much success to the company in order to add something to the formula. And I think that is where it comes back to. So every company has a different culture. Within Enza, the culture is pretty much about, I would say, being Dutch, being very direct, clear, result-driven. Don't complain. Just show that you have something to add, and that's what we try to do. So and learn and adapt. So dare to make mistakes, but also be clear about those mistakes. And for instance, in the war on talent, we made some mistakes. We thought maybe business expertise is not that important always, but we learned sometimes the hard way that if you don't understand or don't want to understand really what our purpose is as a company, then you will probably not be successful, and that means something to the pace and the people you can attract to the company.
Yes.
So I think that's what it's in the end all about: understand the existing culture, act on it, and sometimes that means that you need more time than you would like to take to have the right people or have the right projects finalized and create the impact you want.
Yeah. Are there any other lessons that basically you can derive from your journey that you would share with others, right? Every company, of course, is different, but there might be some that look a bit alike. What is the advice that you would give them to, like, while embarking on a journey like this?
This is the new normal. Eh? So I think the complexity is maybe the new normal. So we have to really think about how can we bring every day, every week, every month, every year, more and more change. And people tend to say, I'm busy, we are busy, wait, we have to prioritize. And I think we have to rethink that model. So in a certain way, we have to create a mechanism that we are simply not too busy. It's just, that's what we do. So you have running the business, and that should be good. That should be transparent. And we have to create a, let's say, change model where you can again and again adapt to new opportunities. And I really think that is all about creating great examples. So sometimes it's not, you better make fast decisions that afterwards you would rate with a 7 or an 8, but you did it fast. You were very clear, and you make sure that the teams around it work with this rated 7 decision, rather than thinking for a long period about the best business case or the best ROI. So I think the speed of decision making, close to the I always call it the place of impact, the area of impact. I think that is the secret. And people talk a lot about agility. Yeah. I think for me, the most important part of agility is the autonomy to operate, combined with very focused teams and super fast decision making, and the obligation to show what you did. So I think as long as you have this mechanism of people that you trust working on a certain topic or field, and now and then, either it's on a weekly, a monthly, or quarterly basis, the key stakeholders, the users, the consumers are connected physically with the output. That is a very healthy system, because if you then again have the right people in the right place, there's a super nice dynamics going on without any interference of too much management, to make big changes fast. Just dare to go and learn, adapt. I think
that summarizes it well. Thank you. Completely different direction. How is it to work with Rewire?
So, wow. Well, I think, so for me, before I answer the question, because the short answer is super nice, but if I want to explain why it's good, for me, it's very important to work with people that are committed. I have a high level of responsibility. I like to have some autonomy as well. And to balance those things, I think it's very important to be result driven, and also to show commitment in everything you do. And what we try to do in the collaboration with Rewire is not to create a result commitment on paper, but in the collaboration, it is super clear that we both take ownership of success. We measure it concretely, and I'm quite sure that we work case driven. So we are working on 5 value cases at the moment. I'm quite confident that the lead on those value cases within Enza feels not necessarily more responsible for those value cases than the lead at the side of Rewire. And I think that is the magic, that also helps to learn really fast, to adapt to new opportunities, also to struggle together. Don't enforce to go too fast if things are not clear enough. Yet if it is clear enough, to pace up. So I think that's the magic. We are really in it together, and there's equality in the partnership. And I think that at least that's how it feels for me. And that is oftenly said, being a partner, but not always perceived as such. So I think that's for me the difference from a more, let's say, dynamic perspective. And there's also more content. We as Enza, we work quite a lot with genetic data. So our challenges also are very specific. So life science brings some complexity with it, I think. And we were looking for a partner that is able to help us growing the maturity of understanding and working with confidence around data. And I think based on their experience in the field of life science, they also showed that they understand this. And that is very important, because trust is not easily created. And if you show that you brought some successes in the world of life science, genetic data involved, that helps to get the trust, but also to step into realistic cases explaining certain theory. So,
thank you.